Hey guys, this is Spartacus here, and we got ourselves a teaser trailer showing off King Kong and Godzilla on Caldera for Call of Duty Warzone, and these two titans are going to be making their way to Call of Duty on May 11th, which is the start of Operation Monarch, and Season 3 is actually going to be starting for Warzone and Vanguard on April 27th at 9 a.m. Pacific time, and diving more into the actual kind of crossover we have with the King Kong and Godzilla beasts making their way to the game. It looks like we're going to be interacting with them in a game mode during this event. I don't actually know what this game mode is called, but it's going to be a quads game mode with these two titans on the map. Perhaps these two titans are going to be battling it out while we're going to have to play like normal battle royale. We really don't know too many details at this point, but nonetheless, there is going to be a game mode and we're going to be interacting with these two monsters one way or the other. However, we did get a roadmap for Season 3, and there's a few different things I noticed on this roadmap that we didn't see within the blog post. For example, on the Warzone side of things, there is something that says new gameplay showing off these two different Vanguard perks. So are we going to be getting Vanguard perks added to Warzone? I'm not entirely sure, but the perk on the left I actually don't recognize, and so is that going to be a brand new perk entirely that's only going to be in Warzone? Who knows what they mean by that, but they didn't seem to talk anything about this within the blog post. Maybe I'm just completely missing it somewhere, so make sure you comment down below if you guys know what they're talking about when it comes to new gameplay. But also Caldera Iron Trials is coming as well, which if you're interested in that, then I guess that's great. You could probably earn yourself a calling card for getting a win in that game mode. But let's also dive into some other things that we see within Warzone. For example, we have a new point of interest called Dig Site. This is actually going to be located between the mines and the ruins, and you can definitely see some dinosaur bones sticking out of there, which is pretty crazy to think of, so hopefully it can provide some cover when you're trying to get into gunfights. But also Runway, Peak, and Lagoon are getting updated layout changes. So for example, Peak was actually under construction. Well, now all that construction is completed, so the layout is going to be slightly different. And then when it comes to the Lagoon area, it's actually going to be getting an extended sandbar, but it looks like you can enter that area by driving vehicles. However, I think there's going to be certain parts where there's going to be water that is actually going to like kill you instantly, because as you know, if you play Rebirth Island, when you land in the water, you die instantly, and I guess the same could be said with Caldera. And so in the sandbar location, it looks like there's going to be certain areas where if you enter a deep sort of like water pool area, it might actually end up killing you, so just be careful. They were kind of hinting towards that in the blog post. I don't actually know what they mean for what they said specifically, but either way, I would just watch out for that when you go and land in that new area. But also, we are getting ourselves a new Gulag, which I think is going to be really interesting. So it's actually going to be called the Hold, and it's going to be inside a ship away from the island, which I think is quite interesting. Also, keep an eye out for artifacts that are going to be around the island. So for example, one thing you're definitely going to notice near the resort area is there's going to be a giant, massive, glowing axe. And of course, this axe is a reference to the one that King Kong used in the movies. And so maybe at some point during this event, King Kong is going to end up picking up that axe and he's going to be using it to fight Godzilla. I mean, who the hell knows is what's going to happen, right? But nonetheless, I think it'd be really cool to see a giant axe just sitting there on the island. It'd just be really surreal to see in a Warzone game mode. And then also, we're going to be getting some sort of exfiltration mission on Rebirth Island during a mid-season update. You have to like find some sort of radio, and then during the final circle, you're going to have to exfil with it, which I think they just mean winning the match. Some sort of Easter egg, some sort of like, I don't know, story quest that they're adding onto Rebirth Island. I have no idea what they mean by this, but nonetheless, some sort of exfiltration mission is making its way during the mid-season update on Rebirth Island. Now let's talk about some of the new weapons that are coming within Season 3, whether they're going to be in the Battle Pass or they are going to be available during the mid-season update or just later on in the season. So for the first one that's going to be added during the start of the launch of Season 3 is the M1916 Marksman Rifle. This is going to be semi-automatic, and apparently it's going to be impressive at any range, and it's going to be a 2-shot kill in Vanguard's multiplayer, but it's also going to have high recoil. This reminds me of the SVT in a way, because the SVT by default, I believe, was a 2-shot kill in Vanguard's multiplayer, but the recoil was so hard to manage unless you unlocked certain attachments for it. So obviously we're going to have to level up this weapon to actually make it a little bit more effective when it comes to recoil, but maybe we're going to have to change it to a 3-shot kill if that was going to be the case. I can definitely see them doing something like that. So either way, 2-shot kill in multiplayer, but it's going to have high recoil, so make sure you're prepared when you unlock it for the first time. Also, there is going to be a Nikita AVT assault rifle. This apparently is going to be the best in class for its fire rate, so it's going to have the fastest fire rate out of all the ARs in the game, and it's also going to be effective at close quarters range and long ranges, but it's also going to have high recoil. So it seems like they're going with kind of like the high recoil type weapons throughout this update, so they're going to be a lot harder to control, which I think is a good thing because, you know, a lot of what Call of Duty has done in the past few years is a lot of the weapons seem to have pretty low recoil for the most part, but admittedly Modern Warfare started the trend of adding high recoil weapons, so nonetheless we're getting high recoil weapons here for the marksman and assault rifle categories. But then later in the season we're getting a new melee weapon called the sledgehammer. However, it's not your traditional sledgehammer that you see, it's the junkyard jet version. So you know, the one kind of theme they're going with, the classified arms theme, is what they're going with in this season 3, and so these weapons are going to be looking kind of futuristic and I guess fictional in a way, and so it's kind of interesting seeing this type of, I guess, you know, melee weapon being used in a World War II setting. But I mean, honestly, I don't really care if they like break away from the meta that we see within World War II and how people want to make it realistic. But either way, later on in the mid-season update, we are going to be getting something called the H4 Blixen SMG, and they said that it's just going to have some certain sort of aspects from the Sten and PPSH added to this SMG, but that's all we really know about it so far, and so we're just going to have to wait till the mid-season update to get more details. And then of course we are getting a new task force added to the list of operators, so we are getting Mateo Hernandez, Florence Carter, and Kim Tae-young, who is my favorite looking character out of this bunch here. However, it looks like Mateo is going to be the only operator that's going to be in the battle pass, because Florence Carter is going to be added later on in the season, and then Kim Tae-young is going to be added during a mid-season update. I don't see why we can't have all three of these operators in the battle pass, because personally I would love to have access to all of them, but unfortunately they like to tie them across bundles, which I am not a huge fan of. Now let's talk about the two multiplayer maps that are going to be added within season 3, and it's really sad to see that we're only getting one map added at launch, and then later in season we're getting another map. I believe this second map is going to be added before the mid-season update, but still we're only getting one map at launch. Really upsetting. Either way, this map is actually going to be called Mayhem. It's going to be a fast-paced map, close quarters combat, and is going to be located in a mini metropolis. So think of like a city but miniaturized, to where you feel like you're a Titan running around on it, which I think is a good theme of a map for this season, if I'm being honest with you. And it kind of reminds me of that one corner that we saw of Studio, which of course was a reimagined version of Firing Range. I just totally remember that one location in particular for whatever reason. And so yeah, Mayhem looks pretty interesting. I like the theme of the map. I think it's going to be close quarters. It's probably going to be like DOS House and Shipment, to where it's going to have like ridiculous spawns, and you're going to be getting a lot of high kill gameplays really easily. And when it comes to the other map that's coming out later in the season, it's called Sphere, and it's going to be a weapons lab that is under a coal mine, which is a little concerning, because if it's going to be under a coal mine, does that mean that there's not going to be any like exterior areas of the map? So if you call in a ball turret gunner, if you call in a bombing run, any type of aerial streak, it's not going to be able to do any damage against enemy players. That's my biggest concern about this map. I guess we'll have to wait and see. Same with UAVs. Can you even shoot down a UAV if you're playing on this map if it's underground? I have no idea. But Sphere is also going to be a close quarters combat map. I don't know if it's going to be as small as Mayhem. Mayhem does sound like it's going to be a small map, but nonetheless, they're both going to be close quarters combat according to what they said in their blog post. And then of course, we are going to be getting a trophy system, ladies and gentlemen. My fucking god, I cannot believe they are adding this to Vanguard. I am not like saying that in a way that's bad, because I think it's a good thing that we have a trophy system added to Vanguard. It's kind of weird looking too, because there's like claymores on the side of it. It's some sort of weird prototype, like I guess trophy system that happened in World War II, which of course is completely fictional. These things did not exist back then, and that's one of the reasons why people didn't want them to add it in the first place, because it's a World War II game. But I mean, we've kind of already broken away from real realism in Call of Duty. I don't see why we shouldn't have a trophy system in the game, but I am shocked nonetheless that they're adding it. And so the thing that's interesting about the trophy system is that everyone's going to have access to it as soon as Season 3 comes out, and as soon as the update goes live, essentially. You don't have to unlock it through the battle pass like we saw within some of like the incendiary grenade and the sticky bomb, for example. And then when it comes to the different items that the trophy system can block, it can block frag grenades, sticky bombs, and stuns while they are in the air. So does that mean that like the throwing knife, for example, it can't block that? It also can't block the satchel charge, I believe it's called in the game, like the C4 essentially. I don't know. They only said the frag, sticky bombs, and stuns. Throwing knives, I'm okay with them not blocking that. I think that's totally fair. But when it comes to satchel charges, I don't know. Are satchel charges going to start becoming meta now within Vanguard's multiplayer because these aren't going to block them? I guess we'll have to wait and find out. But nonetheless, that's pretty much everything that we have within this roadmap and everything we have within the blog post itself. They did talk a little bit about zombies, but nothing new was really being added to zombies. I already made a video last week discussing what is going to be added to Vanguard zombies, and then we're not going to be getting anything until after Season 3 ends, unfortunately. So if you guys want to go ahead and check out that video, I'll make sure to have a link in the description below for you guys to go ahead and check it out for yourselves. But you are, of course, going to be getting a lot of different bundles that we can purchase. However, some of these do look pretty good. For example, there is a tracer pack for basically King Kong and Godzilla, and then Mecha Godzilla. The Mecha Godzilla tracer pack looks fucking insane. That outfit just is astonishing to me, and so I'm really curious what the weapon blueprint's going to be. Same with the other Godzilla tracer pack. That one looks really cool as well. And then the King Kong one looks okay, I suppose. I don't think it's really anything too special, but the Godzilla and Mecha Godzilla tracer packs look freaking insane. Am I going to purchase them? Probably not, because I don't support the whole bundle system we have within Call of Duty, but nonetheless, it is pretty sick looking at these things. And so there we go, you guys. That is everything I have to tell you guys when it comes to Season 3 content that will be launching on April 27th, and of course Operation Monarch, which will be launching on May 11th, and how King Kong and Godzilla are making their way into the Call of Duty storyline, which is really weird to think of, because apparently it is actually going to be storyline related as well, because Butcher's literally talking about in the teaser trailer how these monsters just all of a sudden pop up on the map. It's just so super weird, you guys. Either way, interesting nonetheless. I think it's going to be really fun having those two titans in Warzone. Vanguard is still not looking super great, but I think the trophy system is going to make up a huge portion of the gameplay elements, and just hopefully things go really well when it's added to the game. So that's all for today's video. Make sure you are subscribed for videos in the future. Make sure you leave a like if you found the video informative and helpful. Don't forget to follow me on Twitter to stay up to date with me outside of YouTube, and I shall catch you guys later.